Alright, what's up guys? This is Manelki and welcome to my tutorial for building Doom levels with Doombuilder 2. This is going to be a quick sort of mini series just taking you through the basics of creating levels for Doom. When I say Doom, I do of course mean the original Doom, not the new Doom or Doom 3 or anything like that. Something I always like to do. I think it's fun to create stuff. Hopefully you do too. If you don't, I think you might have clicked on the wrong video. If you just want to see some Doom gameplay, you can feel free to click here and check out my my Let's Play on Doom. But otherwise, yeah, let's get started and show you how to build some Doom levels. So in this first episode, I'm just going to take you through the basics. We're going to set up Doombuilder, show you the basic building blocks, I guess, of a Doom level, and take you through some very basic procedures, and then we'll kind of go from there. So the first thing you gotta do, oh by the way, sorry, I'll definitely link where you can download Doombuilder 2 in the description section below. So we'll do that for sure. What you will need, of course, is obviously you'll need Doombuilder. You will need a WAD file, which is the main resource file of your Doom game. You can get that simply by buying Doom. You can get it on Steam very cheap right now. It's only a few bucks. It's well worth it because it's Doom, and Doom is amazing. So we're going to be using Doom 2 for this, but it doesn't matter. You can follow along with Doom or Heretic or Final Doom or Hexen or whatever you want. They all work basically the same. So the first thing that we're going to do once we've loaded into Doombuilder is we're going to go to Tools and we're going to go to Game Configurations. So, like I said, for the purposes of this video, we're going to be using Doom 2. So just select Doom 2 or whatever you happen to have, but I'm going to be using Doom 2. And the reason I like to build levels in Doom 2 as opposed to Doom is because Doom 2 has more stuff. Like, there's more textures to work with, there's more enemies to work with, there's more decorations, there's an extra weapon, you know. There's just more stuff. You know, barring a few minor instances, basically everything Doom has is in Doom 2, and then there's just more added on to it. So I like to build in Doom 2 just for that reason. Now, so what you do is you select Doom 2, and then you go Add Resource. This is going to look for your WAD file. Like I said, doom2.wad. Now there's two types of WAD files. There's what's called an iWAD and what's called a pWAD. An iWAD is this WAD right here, doom2.wad. It's the main resource file for a game. So Doom 2 would have doom2.wad, Doom it would just be doom.wad, Hexen would be hexen.wad. It's the WAD file that came with the game that has all of the resources, the textures, the sounds, the graphics, the level information, that sort of thing. It doesn't contain anything about how the game operates. That's all contained in the executable. The WAD file is simply a resource for textures and things like that. A pWAD is what we're creating. I don't know what it stands for, but it's like a mod basically. Like it's a replacement for something. It's an add-on or something that's been created to mod. So that's what we're creating right now. So you basically just open up this window and navigate to find your WAD file, whatever it may be, and hit OK. And you're going to do the same thing under testing. This is where you're going to go look for your executable. Now, you could just use the original doom.exe, but I don't know how well that plays in modern operating systems. So I would highly recommend you use a port. I'm using my Zdoom. That's just my personal preference, and I'll of course put a link in the description where you can download that. It's free, of course. So I like to use Zdoom because it's just straight up, you know, there's no frills, no BS. It just allows you to play in a higher resolution under modern operating systems. It's got a few quality of life fixes in there. It's also decent for multiplayer and all these things. So I like to go with Zdoom. So once you've got that set up, this is just for testing, by the way. When you go to test your level, it's going to need an executable to run the level. So I like to use Zdoom. So once you've got that all set up, click cancel and you're ready to go. Alright, so just click new map. And so what you're going to want to do here is when you go to game configuration, just again click Doom 2 or whatever Doom version of game you're using. Now where it says level name, don't just name your level my level or anything. This isn't the name of the map. This is literally which map within the game you're trying to replace. So in the case of Doom 2, it's this is map 01. That's just the sort of naming convention. It goes from 1 to 27, or 28 if you include the secret level. So we want to replace map 1 for simplicity, because every time we go to test the level, or when we load up our WAD, we just want to load right into it and play it, rather than load right into the game, having to skip a few levels just to play our WAD. So we're going to play the first map. If you're using Doom 1, that's fine. The convention for Doom 1 is E1M1, which is episode 1 map 1, or episode 2 map 4, whatever you want to do. But we're going to stick with Doom 2, of course, so map 01. So that's what we're going to replace. So go ahead and click OK. And then you're going to end up with this basic black screen with a grid. So of course, right now we have nothing because we haven't done anything. So we're going to go ahead and start building stuff. So first thing we need to talk about are the basic building blocks of a Doom level. So we have vertices, linedefs, and sectors, and things, but basically it's vertices, linedefs, and sectors. When I say things, I mean objects like enemies and weapons and ammo, but that's not really super critical to build the level. What you're looking at is vertices, linedefs, and sectors. So what are these things? Well, right now we're in vertices mode. We can hit L to go into Linedefs mode, as you can see down here, or S to go into sectors mode. To start building, we want to be in Linedefs mode, so hit L. And then basically what you want to do is you want to right click somewhere on the screen. Now you have this line that you're building, and then you start left clicking to create your first room. So before we go any further, what's a vertex or a vertex? Vertex is just where two linedefs meet. It's a corner, a little point. Just like in geometry, a vertex is exactly that, a vertex. You can manipulate them or add them to continue manipulating all you want. A linedef is, as you might guess, one of these lines. It's a wall, usually. It doesn't have to be a wall. You can have a linedef that is completely invisible to the player, but has some other function, and we'll get into that later. These linedefs here are pointed inwards, as you can see. This little tick here, that's the direction the linedef is facing. A linedef, as you can see in the bottom, has two sides to it, and it's always the front side that has this little tick on it. And that's important because, as you can see in the bottom, there's 6 boxes, 6 gray boxes. Well, one of the boxes isn't gray. It has a texture in it, as you can see, star tan 2 or whatever it's called. That's the middle, or it's not letting me, oh, no, well, anyway, I can't show you with my cursor, but if you look, it's the middle texture of the front side of the side def. And so the front side is always the one with this tick. As you can see, there's 6, so there's, it doesn't really show, I guess I could right click and show you. So every linedef has 2 side defs, and as you can see here, right here, these are the 6 boxes they were showing down here. So the front has an upper, a middle, and a lower, and the back has an upper, middle, and lower. So as you can see, the only texture we have here is the middle of the front side, because we don't need to see any textures on this line coming from the outside, because we're standing on the inside. We don't care. The only texture we care about is the one we can actually see. We're never going to be out here. So that's the only texture you need right now. So middle is exactly that, the middle. The upper is, let's say you lowered the ceiling down. Anything that would have been above the ceiling, you would need an upper texture for. Likewise, if you raise the floor up in an area, it will be looking for a lower texture on the side of the box. That's going to seem a little abstract and bizarre, but we'll kind of get to that in a minute, yeah, and you'll see exactly what I mean by that. Now, another thing that's very, very, very critical to understand is that, actually, before I get into it, sorry, I should just explain sectors. This here is a sector. It's created when you enclose an area with linedefs. So as you can see, these are the 4 linedefs that make up the sector. Here are the vertices that make up this sector, and this is the actual sector. And a sector will have a floor height, a ceiling height, a floor texture, a ceiling texture, and some various other properties. Light level, it might have some special flags, like maybe it damages you if you're stepping on it, like poison or lava or whatever, and all this sort of thing. Sorry, so getting back to what I was saying, a very important thing in the Doom engine, you cannot have 2 sectors above one another. So basically, think of like an empty bubble of space, like an empty room, And all you're doing, like your whole Doom level, is literally raising ceilings and lowering floors and shifting the walls around. So you can do that all you want, but you can never have empty space above other empty space, like separated, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can never have somebody standing somewhere and then somebody directly below them in any way. It's always beside them, kind of thing. Like, you'll see what I mean. But basically, yeah, you can never be above. You can always be beside it. So one of the first things that you'll probably want to do is connect two rooms, because right now this isn't a terribly exciting level. All we have is a room with nothing in it. What we can do is we can actually press W to get a preview of what our level is going to look like. And once we're in this 3D preview, you can use E, S, D, and F to sort of navigate around and fly around, kind of like SWAD, but not quite. So this is basically what our level looks like right now. Not super exciting. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another room. So again, go into Linedefs Mode by pressing L. Now see, Linedefs Mode. And now you can right click somewhere in the black and create a new room. And once you've got that, you can hit S to go into Sectors Mode. Now we can move this sector around. Now one thing that's important to note is what you don't want to do. You don't want to do this. You don't want to overlap sectors like that. That's bad and will result in bad things. What you can do, however, is this. You can join them at an edge like that. And so when we do that, that's going to connect these two sectors. And as you can see, it's just opened up this area here. Now as you can see, that it is still very much still two sectors, because they still separate at this floor, but they are joined as far as the player is concerned. Now as you can see, this line here, this line def, went gray, and now it has no textures. That's something the Doombuilder engine does automatically for you when you connect two sectors like that. Any, you know, double used, any shared line def like that will go invisible because it has no textures, and it will be passable. A line def can be impassable or passable, which means you can either walk through it or you can't. And so, of course, obviously these outside ones are impassable, but this one here is now passable because you can walk right through it, see right through it. So what's the point of this line def? Well, it separates these two sectors, which is important, because what we can do is, let's say we're back in our editor here. Well, because these are two different sectors, I can lower the ceiling down or raise the floor up, you know what I mean, or change the textures of the ceiling, or maybe change the light level, but we'll put that back to where it was. And the way I did that when I came into this 3D level, 3D editing tool, I mean, you just point at a surface you want to edit, and you can change you can rotate the middle mouse button, and that'll raise and lower things. Pretty handy stuff. Or you can just edit it from this mode. Doesn't really matter, whatever you prefer. So we're going to go ahead and put another room here. So I'm just going to drag the line def over here to make this a little bit thinner, to create a little sort of corridor. And then we can create another room like this. Go back into Sectors Mode. I'm creating this all in Linedefs Mode, by the way. When I draw the room, I mean. So now go back into Sectors Mode and drag the sector over so that it connects nice like that. Now we have these two rooms connected by this little thing here, this little bizarre little doorway, entryway, whatever you want to call it. And this is what it looks like in game. Pretty basic, nothing terribly special. The next thing you might want to do is, maybe you're bored of these textures, you think they're kind of stupid or they don't fit the motif you're going for. So let's change the floor textures. So you can left click. Now you can do this either in here, you can hit sectors and just left click the ones you want. You don't have to hold shift. To clear your selection is C. So you can either select the sectors if you want to change the floor or ceiling texture, or you can hit Linedefs Mode and change the textures of the walls. But for now, let's change the textures of the sectors, just because why not? So let's go for a different floor texture. So you highlight them all, then you right click to bring up this properties menu. So you can see here we have the floor texture and the ceiling texture. So let's change the floor texture, because I don't like that one. I mean, it's nice, but it's not what we're going for. So let's change it to maybe this guy here. Why not? So now that's what that looks like, and we can hit W again to preview it. That also looks stupid, but hey, purposes of demonstration. And we will change the wall texture in here. Again, same procedure, highlight them all, and then right click, go into side defs, and here we have it. So let's change that. Works the exact same way. You just bring up this little thing here. Let's change it to bricks, because why not? There we go. Hit C to deselect, and that's what it looks like. So changing textures is as simple as that. So I think that's where we're going to leave this video. So that's the very, very basics. We've set up Doombuilder. We've got 2 basic rooms here. I suppose one thing I should add before we go. If you press T, you'll go into Things mode, and like I said before, things are things like player starts, which is what we need right now, or enemies, or guns, or ammo, or decorations and such. So before we go, let's just add a player start. This is when you create a new item, it defaults to player 1 start, which just happens to be what we need right now. This little dial here indicates which direction the item is facing. So let's just face towards our new room, because why not? Which is this way, of course. So we hit OK, and now we have a player start here. And to test this level in the actual Doom engine that we've selected in our testing preferences, you just hit Test Map, and here we are in our Doom level that we have just created, which for now is extremely boring, but we'll get to that. That's basically it for that. So I think I'll leave it there, and we will certainly take this up in the next video, and we'll move on to some slightly more advanced topics. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.